Good morning, dear students. We are studying the chapter The Sound of Music, and we have completed the first part of that. And the second part, in the first part we studied about a very famous musician, world famous musician, Evelyn Glennie, and how she came to a successful position even after overcoming the difficulty of deafness. And now in this chapter we study the one of the very famous musician in India. Okay, and we study about one new musical instrument that is called the Shehnai. Okay, though the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So that is the second part of the chapter that we are going to study. So you might be familiar with the word Shehnai. So it is an instrument, and it is played mostly in marriages and other functions and so on. So this instrument has been used from the very beginning, or for a very long duration. For many years this has been used as a instrument, and now you can say, like, if you consider a marriage function or any type of official functions and all, in that mostly the Shehnai is used. So now we will study about the history behind it, how this musical instrument came into existence, and who brought it forward, and all the things that is behind the story of the Shehnai or instruments like that. Okay. So you might, in the beginning of the chapter, you can see there are some pictures given there, and they are of some of the famous musicians in India. So some musicians. So you may please look forward on the pictures, find the pictures, and also you may find out what the instrument that they are playing. Okay. So the name of these persons, as well as the instruments that they are playing. So you may please find it out by either searching in the internet or by using some other instrumental books or something like that. So may please find it out. It will be beneficial for you. You can make use of it in the future. You should have some idea about the musical instruments and who are the famous musicians of that. Now we will begin the chapter. The Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of the musical instrument called Pangi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So it was at the time of Emperor Aurangzeb, and he had banned the use of a musical instrument called Pangi. So there was a musical instrument which was commonly used in the royal court, that was Pangi, but that instrument had got a very shrill sound. Shrill means very irritating type sound. Okay, very sharp sound, and because of that sound, it was not very attractive or very beautiful like. So that is why the Emperor Aurangzeb banned the use of Pangi. Pangi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. So that was the common name for the reeded noisemakers. The word reeded means to like wind instruments. So you are playing like a flute or trumpet or all these type of instruments we use with the help, or they produce sound with the help of the wind or air passing. So we blow, and they normally keep a reed. There is one like a plastic type or a metallic thing inside, and that when we are blowing air out, then this reed is vibrating, and because of that the sound is created, and after that it goes through a pipe. So there are so many holes there, and when you press on that, then the distance from the distance that the sound has to, or the air has to travel through the pipe, will be varying when you close it. So like if you close all the thing, then only the outside one is there, so the air has to pass that much distance. So it will create one type of sound, and when you open it, then air can pass through that opening. So such a way the variation of the sound will be there. So such type of instruments are For all these type of instruments, it is commonly it is known as the the name was given for Punky. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians had access to the royal palace, decided to improve the tonal quality of Punky. So every people wanted that they have to remove this, or they have to revive this, or bring this instrument into, bring some changes to the instrument. Okay, but many of the people could not do anything, and there was a barber. He is belonging to a very high class musician family, and he is having access to the royal residence. So it is not earlier in the royal residence, or there was a palace. The kings were living in the palace, and inside the king's palace there used to be some musicians, some dancers, all the people, all the famous people, or all the, let's say, specialists will be there. And if the king wants to enjoy music, then he will give command, and the musicians will come and they will play. And one day, if the if the king is interested to listen to a joke, then there is a joker, or so like that. There are so many different people are there. So, and everybody simply cannot go and enter into the palace. So there is a special permission required for entering into the palace. So here he was the there was a barber, and even though he is a barber, but he is belonging to a very high class musicians family, and he has access to the royal residence. So he made some changes to the Punky, and he improved the instrument. So he made some changes, newness to the changes. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem, that was longer and broader than the Punky, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. So he took a pipe, a very long pipe, and maybe like a bamboo or something like that. So he took a pipe, and he made some 7 holes on the pipe. So Punky, on the next page you can see the pictures of the Punky and Shehnai. So you can find the difference. So the Punky was like Punky is a kind of instrument which is there mostly like when you see like this snake charmers are there. So the people, those who are playing with the snakes, and in their hand there is a kind of instrument there, and they are playing. So somewhat similar to that instrument is called the Punky. So it is like there is a small pipe and the ball type thing is there, and after that there is again another pipe. So that type of instrument is, and this instrument, this Shehnai. So this barber who had designed this instrument, he made some type of changes. So he made the pipe a little long pipe, and made some holes, some 7 holes on the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were coming. So he could produce he holded the pipe like that, and he was playing and opening and closing some holes. So he played, and somewhat very good music was coming out of that. Some good music was produced. So he played the instrument before royalty, and everyone was impressed. The instrument is so different from the Punky, had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber and was played by a Nai, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So he played the instrument in front of the royal palace and in the royal residence, and the people in the royal residence was pleased by the sound that it is making. So the people were very much happy about the sound, and it was slightly far different than the sound of the Punky. The Punky sound was very much irritating type sound, and this one was somewhat better sound. There was a good music like so, and it was not very much irritating type, but a very nice somewhat good sound was there. So the people started to like it, and the people in the royal palace was happy with the music, and they wanted to give a new name for this one. So they decided that this was played in the Shah's palace. Shah. So it was played in the Shah's palace. So they took the first few letters of the Shah, and it was played by a Nai. Nai is the name given for, that is like caste name, like it is given for the barber. So the barbers were known as the Nai. So combining these two parts, like Shah and the Nai, both combined together, and they made the word called the Shehnai. Okay. So such a way the name of this musical instrument came into existence. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So the sound of music was considered as a blessing, or very auspicious, very special, and because of this speciality, auspicious meaning is given there, promising to bring good future. So the meaning of this one is that it can bring a good future. So means that when you are playing, listening to the music, you will. So we know, see, like as per our tradition, we have some kind of beliefs are there. It may be some superstitions, or we cannot say anything about that, but some kind of beliefs are there that see, if when you are going somewhere, if some good sounds are heard, then that thing is going to be successful, and if some other sounds are heard, then it is not going to be successful. Some like the such type of beliefs and all are there, and Indians are following so much of this type of beliefs. So here the sound of Shehnai was considered as auspicious. If you listen to the sound of this Shehnai, then your future is going to be very much successful. So such kind of a belief was there, and because of this belief, the instrument was considered as a very good one, and mostly played in the almost all the functions, especially in the like North Indian weddings and all, where any wedding marriage ceremonies and all are there. Then one side the musicians will be playing, and other side the puja and all will be going on, and marriage functions will be going on. So such a way the functions used to be conducted. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat, or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at the royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So the earlier in Shehnai was considered as a part of Naubat. Naubat means there are 9 musical instruments accepted by the court. Okay, and so these instruments were considered as a very important type of musical instruments were there. So 9 instruments were there which considered as which gave access in the royal palace. So it became as a part of this one, and earlier it was only used in the weddings and like any royal courts or something like that. In commonly any function or any other things, this instrument was not used. But the one person who has brought this one into the on the stage, it became as a stage performance, or became very classical stage. This work was done by the Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay. So next we are going to study the future, the study about the Ustad Bismillah Khan. Who is Ustad Bismillah Khan, and how he came to become a famous musician, or about the story of Ustad Bismillah Khan. Next paragraph is about that. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Damraun in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilogram, a prize given by the royal local Maharaja. So there was Bismillah Khan was a very small boy, just a 5-year-old boy, and he was just playing in the ground. Gilli Danda, you know the game that the children are playing with the sticks. One big stick is there and one small stick will be there, and with that they are playing. It is the traditional form of cricket. Now people are not interested in playing such type of games and so on. Now the children are playing the cricket. So it is believed that the Britishers came to India and they saw these children playing Gilli Danda here, and from that they made or they improved this game, and cricket came into existence, it seems. So we don't know very clearly about that. This is a story heard. We cannot exactly say. So we can say that the Gilli Danda that we are playing almost similar to the cricket, you know. So like instead of, see, in Gilli Danda the one person is throwing the small stick and the other one is beating with the long stick. So in cricket one person is throwing the ball and another one is hitting with the bat, and it goes like how much the small stick is, if one person is beating it with the small stick, and how much distance it travel. Based on that the runs is points are calculated, and in cricket also the similar way this is calculated. So that is why they say that both of them, these things are having some kind of similarities. We don't know whether the game came into existence from Gilli Danda or not, but they both are having some amount of similarities. Okay, so he used to go. He was a simple boy. He used to play there, and in some type of functions, he used to go to a temple and for playing some music like chaita. And when he goes for participating in this one, for singing this song, and he used to get a prize. It was a laddu, and one laddu was around 1.25 kilograms. So you can just imagine, very big laddu was there. So if you purchase 1 kilogram of laddu, in that some around 30-35 laddus will be there. So you can imagine that one laddu means that all that laddu is made into one big piece like. So that is like in the temple they are offering they are doing. So such type of maybe any offering will be there. So it was given as a gift or a prize. It was made in such a way as a prize. So given by the local Maharaja, there was a king, and he was giving this laddu to the people, those who are performing this. This happened 80 years ago. And the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So here, this thing happened 80 years ago. So like when he was very small, and almost after some years, so this boy who was playing Gilli Danda and going to the temple and singing song and becoming or getting a laddu, and this boy became very much famous, and he travelled a very long distance, and he reached to a place. Travelled in a long distance means he went to his life travelling is mentioned here, not about like travelling in the bus or train or like that, but he travelled. He has to go and undergone so lot amount of troubles and difficulties, and faced these problems, and brought up a very successful position in his life. So he became the highest, he reached to earn the highest civilian award. Do you know what is the highest civilian award in India? That is the Bharat Ratna. So getting the Bharat Ratna is not very easy, or to any simple person it is not given. So some people, those who are bringing a very or those who are doing some kind of very special things, or the one who is expert in any particular field, so such type of people are recognized by giving the highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna. So he, the boy who was simply playing and roaming around outside, he became very much expert, and he also reached up to the stage that he is able to get the Bharat Ratna. Okay, so you can read this chapter, and there are some new words given there, and you can start writing it into your copy. And I will be sending you the question answers of the first part of the chapter, and you can study those things also. And you can write part 1. So you have to make, like when you write the chapter, you make the first part like the sound of music you write, and the part 1 the topic you write, and after that the part 2. So part 1 you write the word meanings you can write, and after that the question answers. Then next you can give the part 2, and their word meanings you can write, and after that the question answers you can write. So such a way you can fill the notebook. So I will be sending you the question answers, and you can write it into your copy. Okay, thank you so much.